Harmonic pattern collection software trial right now and get the Black Friday special 30% off right now, HPC 30. We're going to run that for 2 more weeks and then it's gone. So this is the time to do that. Settle on in. Come on, chat. What's going on? How you feeling today? Harmonic's playing out? I would say so. Let's get to it. There's the link for the Black Friday deal. I don't want to spend too much time on this. You guys know the situation. I went through that on Tuesday, back here on a Thursday. Everyone else, listen, if you're not with the software, we're going to show you why you need to get with it, but at least get the free trial. 2 weeks by sending your TradingView username to HPC at sr-analyst.com. That's the only thing I shill here. I don't do any brokerage, whatever, anything, you know, it's the only thing I got. Why? Because what else is going to tell us where the hell Bitcoin's going? Not to mention, I'll get to NASDAQ right in a little bit here, now with a 1,000 point reversal in the last 2 hours. But I think you're all kind of chomping at the bit, want to know what the heck's going on with Bitcoin. And guys, 86,700 is now the reality. Bitcoin, I pounded this. There's a reason why, you know, I get on here and I rant with you guys to talk about just, I still am just mystified at how fantastic harmonic patterns point us in the right direction. And now, I just want to kind of clear the air and let you guys know that there is nothing until 76K. So forget what is going on at 87, 86, whatever. Talk to me about 76K, and it's probably in the next 10 days. This is not stopping. And I really wanted to be clear. I know people are always looking for an edge in crypto. Sorry, the influencers are going to go away. Okay, the people that are not doing levels and giving you hype are basically going to lose all credibility when this happens. And I'll beyond that. Okay, I have changed my tune in the last 5 weeks, and now we see it getting fulfilled. So that's what we do here. That's why I do the show. I do the harmonic pattern kind of presentation twice a week, 12:30, Tuesdays, Thursdays, to reinforce, teach you guys, okay, how to pinpoint the patterns, how to understand they define not only direction but character of where the market can go, and within the whole framework that I've been working on for 3 decades. Three decades. It literally was like 19 about this time 1995 that I really started diving in seriously on the markets. And it took me years. It took me a solid 3-4 years before I really hit substantial, like six-figure success. And then it took me longer than that to get to really where I am now. And I'm not even that big, guys. I'm at home. I'm doing my thing. I've got freedom. Okay. I've had my success, but I know there's always somebody much bigger than me. And, but I'm very content with where I'm at. Okay. Because for me, getting it right, first and foremost, is the bottom line factor. If I can impart that to you folks, this is a framework that you will take with you forever. And the obvious thing is that people are going to need the markets more than ever before, especially in the future. Okay, as new paradigms, new trends develop, okay, and old ones go away. And is crypto becoming an old trend? Because there's a lot at stake here where we know that this is going to shoot the gap. But a lot of what I talked about on Tuesday, what I'm going to get into today, is really about long-term crypto survival. And I just, we've got all of the metrics that are there that have registered. What is the problem? What's the problem with most people? They don't have the living experience of going through a bull cycle, a bear cycle. I do. And I do with the patterns. Okay? And this is me extending that to you. And then once you guys get it, and once you start recognizing it, you're using the software, okay, to understand where market direction, what is possible, is a lifelong skill that never goes away. Like these levels that we do every session, okay, where else are you going to find them? And then directionally, I stand by it all. So with that being said, right now with Bitcoin at 87,000, that's just a number. And we talked about what the possibilities, like I said, of not only this pattern, but, the larger kind of looping framework where this pattern was not, it was still a type 1. Came all the way up here, and we still need to retest it. It's just how it works. Great to see you guys. Come on in, chat. Settle in, folks. What's going on, everybody? Great to see everybody. Come on in. We're still getting to it, and we will get to it for the hour here. We've got to talk about NASDAQ too, because within all of that framework of what's happening, there's a lot of things that need to be considered. That the big 1618s that we have been addressing for some time. are playing out. I mean, you're seeing it in the individual character of NASDAQ, S&P. We're digesting these big targets that we hit. Um, let's get to that shark pattern. I'm a little bit more there now, but this is the zone, and it is has quickly become a shark, irregular shark, no doubt, but we've been clear really since the big breakdown flash crash candle violated 107 that minimum target one at 93.2 was needed, but we have seen this time and time again with crypto. Just because of the volatility, target type 1 reaction goes to target 2. That's 78.7, guys. So, I stress this because there are still people saying this is a buying opportunity, buy on the dip, the fear, max fear. All of your favorite influencers are out there. Yeah, Bitcoin, this, that, the other thing. It's just a market. And I've always said at the right price. We are so far from any right price on Bitcoin for a buying opportunity. You want to trade it, that's on you. I'm not interested in trading it. I'm not. In fact, I've on a lot of it, stocks and crypto especially, just kind of pulled back. I'm just let it fall. We'll get another set of opportunities, but it's not going to happen till next year. We are done for the year, folks. And if you weren't convinced of it before, after today, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, S&P, doing these kind of intraday reversals shows you the weakness in the market. Here's that's our fantastic intro song. Shout out to my buddy John Logan. We're going to have to get John. He's wrote the intro song. Amazing musician, great guy. He has a couple crypto stories himself. I got to get him on the show one of these days. Here's what we're monitoring, okay? And remember I said this on Tuesday that our overall, proximity to being oversold on Harmonic Strength Index or even RSI was not even close. And you still have to come down. Guys, this is where you shoot this last ditch down. You can, the price can accelerate quite quickly. Not to mention, we got to look at our RSI value amplified. Okay, this is our proprietary indicator. These are in fact all proprietary indicators, all based on harmonic metrics. And you see how well they work. Okay, that has dipped down into a deep oversold where as long as that continues, we will go bar over bar for the next several days down. Likely, I'm thinking amazingly, 1 week from today is Thanksgiving. And this could drop for the next week into that zone. It's that severe. Larger possibilities, of extreme bear market targets all get triggered under the 74,000 level. 78 is target 2. We have some of those prior patterns down here. Go back to August. I mean, I'm really favoring 78 as a minimum, 76.6 as that retest, and then we'll see. But I left you guys with this fact at the end of the show. I kind of was circling back, and ever since we have hit it, let me clean up those crazy projections. This is the biggest trigger. This was the event, the technical breakdown event that I said would trigger the bear market. And that's a monthly violation of the 50 level on amplified. A lot of metrics here that are all kind of pointing to a downside continuation. Let's not even, be nice about it. We've got a lot to deal with where these have been triggered already. And you just kind of stand back and let it happen for a long time. Not only do you have price to deal with, but you have many bars. I would even say, we can go 30 months out until you see a to kind of where we got our. It's like this from here. Now is December 21, and then you project it out 30 months there. That's the kind of turnaround window. Maybe the weekly chart is a more reasonable time frame, but you guys get what I'm saying here. We've got a lot of work to do to the downside. Obvious targets are at lower levels, and then the static things, because we're the only people looking at harmonic patterns, and I'm cool with that. Like, I don't need a big group. I don't need a lot of people. I mean, the gold group we have is, what is it, 10, 20 people during the day at most, which is great, because more than that, we start to get headaches. I do. And then here, maybe we get 150, 200 people at a time, and I'm fine with that, because I think, like, the easier, the cooler the group, the higher quality, the better. Most people are going to be looking at trendline break. We're looking at a little more sophisticated analysis of pattern framework. Regardless, okay, this is going to be a big breakdown where the low, and we jump into next week. Like, where are we going to be by Sunday? And what kind of follow through candle will we get even next week? That was the consideration last week. Next week, we're going to see. But there is nothing here. Zero. Nothing that says Bitcoin is a buy opportunity. If anything, the risk for substantially lower prices is here and now. It's before I really thought it would. I thought we would see something into November, early December, and then just, follow on that time frame. It was, well, what was the date that week? Yeah, first week of October. First week of October. So again, if you're new to harmonic patterns, the thing to do is get with the software, get over, send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst. The other platforms, MetaTrader, eSignal, NinjaTrader, a lot of people doing prop firm stuff with that. Great platform, and Sierra Charts. All free trials. You guys know why I do it, because it's headache free. If I do it this way, I don't have to hold hands. You guys are old enough to figure it out. Meanwhile, NASDAQ is just crashing. NASDAQ is down now. Almost, yeah, it's down 400. Just clipped it. And I think that could go down a couple hundred more today. Get on in, guys. So, do I want to address where I think it's going with Bitcoin? Maybe I should. Maybe because I want to be in front of this. I don't think these are low prices. And I've been really clear on that. Even like last week, and especially Tuesday, when I said, guys, I think this has got to go to 78. 93 is failing. If we go back in time, let's get an all-time monthly crypto thing, because everyone on the way up loves to cite the prior cycles. But what happened every cycle, all right, is essentially like a 786 retrace of the prior high to low. And so if we're going to do the same kind of a thing to the upside, although we never got the 3618, let's just leave it like this. Where's the 786? 786 off the low from 15 and change to the high at 125. There, okay? It's there. Do I want to say the number? Because it's sub 40. It's just under 40. And I wasn't gonna. I really was gonna kind of hold back on that, but I'm so, it just, this price action is accelerating and triggering it so much more quickly than I thought, that from a harmonic possibility, if you're really going to follow the cycle proportionally with harmonic levels, I'll go there. Okay, once 76 is failed, let me be clear, 76K right now is the app. Retest some of these patterns. And then I'll say this. The other thing about the using the pattern levels, all right, because not only the zone targets, but the profit targets, where the software kicks out these bottom end levels is your absolute floor. So you fail that floor, and that's however this test works out. You fail that, it's over. And we already see it. We've been talking about this. I've been kind of hitting this for weeks now. It's just what's changed. It's been happening. It's coming to fruition. And this is where your harmonic learning curve starts to gel. Because you can see the patterns. Most of you, I just need to kind of walk through of like what to look at, what to focus on. Once you guys see that, all right, and then you're in front of the chart, and we know that, like, okay, to be able to resolve what the reaction targets are, the framework really is, because the framework's like this. It's a type 1 reaction, type 2 reversal. But we get this kind of a move that's a little bit of a regular move. It's still a valid objective. Type 1, type 2. It just took all this extra time. And that's fine. And I've been really clear on the fact that we were on the verge of going extreme here, above 124. And when that didn't happen and we dipped back down to like 111, 107, I said, this is not going to do the extreme move. And we would need minimum weekly retest. You know, get down to weekly oversold. You're not there yet. You're close, but it's probably going to happen next week, which means further downside to register that. Or you do a dunk by Sunday and then maybe pop out next week, guys. But you just be clear, all right? Buy because that's the right contrarian move. Hell no. Okay? It's the antithesis of a year ago. Man, a year ago was fun, right? Remember XLM, XRP, kind of be. I'm going to take away my drawings. Maybe that's me kind of venting on the charts, but yeah, XRP is definitely breaking structure, not following through. We're now under $2. Now under 2. Where's it going? Well, we had that bat pattern that was like this big 886 retest from the April low, and then what's happening? A lot like Ethereum. We did a type 1 reaction, and that 250 target, whew, this is where framework, even on the short side, it can actually be a hell of an opportunity. Because you know that that's a reaction. Where's the real reversal, bigger opportunities? It's after the retest. So XRP headed for 184, and I would think lower. I mean, you got prior support. Think about just the whole rally from the April low as a big Fugazi, and then go back 886 reset, retest. Give me some confirmation. Is it? If it's, let me switch over. That would okay, hold on. That's a damn shame. Hold on, give me a second. That does not make me a happy camper. Hopefully we can get something here. Is the shark past 126? No. Yeah, Starlink has been disappointing, guys. I'm still running, I'm doing my test here. And I've been running Comcast forever. Would love to dump it, but I just haven't had the connection. Hold on. I'm going to make but it could very well be. Give it a second here. I'm going to refresh my browser. That shouldn't be it. I don't know. I've been having a lot of issues on internet. That's a little second. It very well could be if you're on a satellite and with the whole solar storms that have been going down, it's been crazy. Yeah, are we back? Hold on. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Uh, Hold on, guys. Really disappointing. Hold on. Oh, you got to be. Okay, I think it's good. So much for that Starlink. There have been crazy things going on, guys, and the sunspots, solar activity on satellites. I don't think the satellites have ever faced a solar storms of this magnitude in their history with the amount of satellites they have. But I'm back to ground here. Much better. Okay, so that's the XRP deal, and still lower the possibility for XRP to do much deeper retraces. It happens really under like 160, not 199. I know that sounds crazy, but is crypto really a sustainable trend, or was that just a one off? And I just gotta be really skeptical. If I was looking at this and this was any other market weekly chart here, I would say failed harmonic impulse wave and then all the way back down. 1618. I don't even want to say those prices. And sometimes it's actually better not to. Just draw the XABCD model. Where does that take you? A lot lower. I'll tell you what, who's really got a problematic chart is Ethereum. Now 2,800, guys. There was nothing under that 3K. Remember, we were looking for the bat to come back and retest, and this was just another type 1 to target 2. And this is 2685, so 2816 is nothing. And I'm just kind of not even deeper retrace news. Oh, I see, this thing is definitely bugging out. Yeah, stay with me. Stay with me here. We should be all right. We'll get through the solar storm. That and 3i Atlas, right? Can't wait till that comes through in about 2 weeks. And then it parks itself right outside of between the moon and Earth. And we'll see what that's all about. Anyway, guys, 2800, nothing. Ethereum 2150, that's better. And that's where I would be looking to target these other large retests. And my final point is, how many of the T coin S coins did 886 retraces from last year's move and then all the way back down? Why wouldn't Ethereum be the same? Because there's nothing really to stop it from doing a full retrace. If we know what happened from April to the summer was all fluff, those aren't strong hands buying it. That's mad money chasing something up a flagpole. And then that flagpole gets broken, busted down, 886 reset. It's a primary retracement concept, much like the 1618. There are specific levels that really matter, and that 886 is definitively it. For Ethereum, the monthly begins to be even more problematic under this obvious trend line retrace. And it's really like this. Ethereum, okay, great, ever since 2019, has managed to kind of keep, I'd say, this kind of a trend. But it's a double top now. That is an absolute double top, if not in its own right a failed harmonic impulse wave. Sometimes you get these failed tops. Okay, it takes maybe a few bars, but once they break down, that failure becomes just devastating. And throw it back down. Another 886 area. All of this points to 2K Ethereum and 2K Ethereum now. I'm not going to go completely crazy and say this is end all be all, but we just have to respect the fact the obvious levels are much lower. Really click again. This all should not be new to you. Solana is the same thing with a 105 target. Okay, I've been doing some work on the monthly charts, as you can see. I'm not going to speak to that yet. I will speak to what the software is kicking out, and as you should be following that too, where type 2, target 2. That's how it works. With crypto, type 1 loves to go to target 2. But our normal reaction, our normal anticipated move is a type 1 down to target 1. And Solana, we've been talking about why 106, 105, 106, depending on your time frame, is the framework objective. And that's still in play. Underneath there, you violate the target 2 and these lows. This is where a type 2 move is a bigger opportunity. How are we doing, guys? Are we still streaming well? Good quality, sound, video, charts look like garbage, but I hope the rest is looks good. Solana. What about BNB? That was a great chart. Where's that going to come back to? Because ever since peaking out at that top, we have just been straight down. We had this ended up being also a big kind of 1618 off of the high to low. It's like that off of 200. Your 1618 was like there. Wasn't it quite a, no, not a 2618. Ends up being a 1618 1902 kind of a creature. I would be looking, just utilize the lower end of the channel. Still a nice uptrend, but zero confirmation. This is different than what we saw back in the beginning of the year. That was where we had really nice confirmation. I'd be looking for Binance Coin, come back low end of the channel, back to 710, 720, but still, until I see some kind of yellow dot, and I did that to just simplify some dummy signals where you got to train yourself to wait for those. And Binance Coin all the way back down here. We're deeply oversold, but that's going to take a couple more bars till we spin out. Thank you guys. What's up, Carl, Skiing Rooster, David, chat? How are you guys doing? Wayne and Floyd and Alec, Jason. Thank you. It's been pristine. Well, I get thank you. Shout out to Comcast, I guess. If as long as they don't go down in my area. Um, I'm south of Miami, guys, and I think I'm a little close to the Keys, and I think that the infrastructure they built out back in the 80s just not as good as maybe closer to the city. I don't know. Mitch is sitting high in the penthouse and really close to all the main infrastructure, so his never goes down. Down here, I don't know. It's been problematic, especially the last 2 or 3 months. Again, I don't know if it has anything to do with those solar storms, but it's been unusual. Um, so that's the old Binance coin. I don't know what else you guys would want to look at. I mean, Zcash. I think it's an interesting situation because people are people are desperate for a crypto to run, and maybe they're just piling into this, okay, with a big FOMO to see if they can catch it. I mean, people saying, oh, Zcash is going to 10,000. Well, that's a lot like the people that said Solana was going to 3,000 on the cycle. Didn't happen. I'm looking at it. I brought this up last time where there were some patterns, some bullish patterns. Like the 5 minute on Zcash has been printing really nice patterns. What was the hourly? I think we had a 550. We had something. Where was it? Yeah, it was a butterfly. Here you go. This is where we were last week. We were a butterfly where target one with the butterfly, and I was saying, yeah, maybe this goes from like 600 to 650. Well, it went to 7. But what do we see here? Bunch of patterns, bearish patterns, type 2s. So not yet. I mean, if Zcash is going to go crazy, parabolic, it already is. I'm not chasing it. I haven't done anything with it, but it's like the only one I see that is still holding ground and did the standard, 20x off the lows. Okay, great. But it would be above 735. For me, I would think right now you don't. I'm not gonna challenge a type 2 pattern. I mean, really, can we describe it? Sure, bearish bat. Okay, now we have another Gartley retest. I would think at a minimum you're going to get a little bit of a downside pullback here. If it's going to go crazy, it's above 735, above 750. And I mean, like, if Zcash is going to do something insane, like go to 1,000, it would be above that 7 whatever number. But much like we've done these projections on a number of coins where you go and do the history, because it does matter. And again, want to highlight the measurements that work. That you're sitting at a 1618, 1902 range. That's like there at 590, 600, and then your 1902 level for Zcash, just to be clear, is 730 as well. So build out your zone. Okay, is anything happening here? You got some stalling behavior. All right, you would need a bearish candle this week, a bearish candle next week, and you would get bearish confirmation dot related to that initial oversold or overbought reading. I think it's an interesting character, and it's the only one that I see. There's one other one, Starknet. Okay, you guys know I'm still digging. If I'm going to pull up something like this, Starknet, guys, it's something I think I mentioned only once before. I see it starting to get kind of in that conversation. Are there patterns here preceding it? Yeah, I mean, I'm not chasing it, but I'm gonna look. It's what I do. Okay, and we have big patterns looking left. Like, could something crazy come from this? Where's my weekly? Hold on. Oversold. Where's the other one? Bear with me. I guess it was a daily. Yeah, StarkNet has all these patterns here. Coinbase feed, no less. A lovely Coinbase. I've lost all confidence in Coinbase, by the way. Just to let you guys know, I'm still in limbo. And, I talked about that on Tuesday. I think Coinbase is a big short, just based on my personal experience with them. But StarkNet token, let's just get it on the radar. Okay, I'm going to bring it to your attention. This has got a few things, and it very well. Let me just say, I've done nothing with this, but if I was to get some kind of trigger on this, maybe I should look at it like a Zcash. 18 cents is that XA level, so I'm not going to touch it until we're back at 18 cents. Currently 24. But that's it. If you guys have anything else that looks somewhat enticing, let me know. What's going on? Crypto Ape is here. Snipes is back. What's up, Daniel? Jason? Yeah, Zcash very well could crash very hard, Jason. We are at that level. The Zcash thing of that 730 number, that's a big 1902. I agree. I'm not doing anything yet. Where's my scratcher? Hold on. I need my back scratcher. I don't have it. Oh, there it is. Get my back scratcher here. But guys, I'm not going to be completely in the dark on crypto and just shut it all down. Although I don't see anything really that lines up to be a potential opportunity, but one or two, and then we're gonna have to look at these Qs and look at the stocks. Somebody want to look at Doge, and I said this a few weeks ago, and now it's just even more clear to me that Doge is done. And Doge is coming back. I've been saying that the 14-cent mark, it's done because we have patterns. Okay? It did the one, now it's coming back for the two. This prior pattern at 14, that was a reaction. And then we had a bearish pattern at 29 cents and it just smashed it down. And I'm now looking more so prior patterns looking left support areas where 9 cents probably makes even more sense, or less sense, if you will, than all of that. Weekly has got this, okay, and it's a beauty. It's a real beauty. That minimum retest back here at 12, but guys, I have nothing here to offer you other than further downside, deeper retest, retrace, and then why? Why? And you're talking to somebody that my big score on Doge literally was like 5 years ago this week, where I started a massive position and caught it. I caught like 80% of that move, guys. Okay, 80% of that move. One of the greatest trades, if not the greatest trade of my life. And that was because of my friend John, who got into that too. The guy that wrote the intro song. He's the one that got me. It's all his fault. All right. But now I'm going to say this, that Doge is just going to have to come back in and full retest all the way back down. You're oversold currently, probably even on the monthly basis, is something where it's in a worse condition, where a lot of these rejections and the fact that we're turning back down here on Doge, and this is a standard technique, guys. This is our amplified RSI, and you can use standard RSI. RSI, in my opinion, is the best indicator, bar none, courtesy of Wells Wilder. But we're breaking down these kind of internal levels, and that matters. Like any way to look at relative price action is a huge advantage. How can I compare the progress of a few months ago or a year ago versus what's happening? Because if it's really a building scenario, you've got like a positive momentum relative to prior history, the price action should continue. If not, you're going to see it internally with RSI or modified RSI here, and we're breaking down to the 50 where we need to get oversold to resolve it or close to it. So again, guys, Doge here at 14, 15 means nothing. I'm thinking 9 for a longer downturn, I guess. I don't think it matters if it's leveraged or whatever. I mean, oh, you mean on that play? I was on spot. It was a spot play, guys. Spot. I've only do spot. I maybe clicked a few crypto trades. I think the thing that I never liked about crypto were the crazy wick moves where if you get stopped out, it's almost like FX where they stop run you. That was my experience. So I've always been a spot person, and my spot bags are very small now. I mean, I literally have like I have a low five figures of spot left of anything, and any Bitcoin thing was ETF, but I've since bailed. So and that's I had large bags. I had large bags. I'm lucky I got out when I did. I'm gonna say that. I got out maybe too late, but I got out actually early enough where real damage could have been done. Had I just held a lot of these things, no, I wouldn't be streaming today. Let's put it like that. Yeah, yeah. Jason's saying he joked with some buddies back in 2018 to put 10K. Yeah, I had more than that initially, and it was at like 4 tenths or half a penny. I mean, look, half of it was luck. Half of it was luck where I caught it at the right time, had some patterns there. I did trade it though. I mean, I should have held it. Had I held it just flat out to the top, yeah, would have been massive. But I actively traded that Doge on the way up and then scaled out on the way down. Go look at my X feed. It's pretty clear on what I did there. It was a lot like the XLM thing from last year too. I wish I had one home run like the Zcash thing I could offer up, but I actually had some back in May and I bailed out. I got really frustrated on it after it like did a pop and roll. Regardless, that's trading. Deal with it, suck it up, move on. Um, what's the other one? Oh, okay. Here's the other one. In terms of patterns, I wanted to bring this to your attention. If the privacy coin is really going to be something, I want you guys to just put dash on your radar here for pattern looking left. But again, framework. Type 1 was reached. Took a while. I mean, look, you initially tested the zone in 22. All right, it took 3 years to make some kind of move, and you got to target one at 135. That was the objective. It it was rejected and then back down. I'm thinking 52. If the privacy coins are really something, let's say all the cartels are, trying to get their cash out of their storage places before, U.S. invades, and they're going to just dump it into privacy coins. That might be something to look at, but that's at 52 bucks. Again, I don't have too many things that I can really offer up. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch is on right now. I don't know. You guys let me know if Mitch is on. I had a feeling he'd be jumping on a market like this. Okay, let's look at some of the stocks. But I'm going to say, before I jump out of there, let's look at the GBTC, okay? Bitcoin ETF, where this was an ideal. Okay, Gartley on the weekly, even monthly. Take a look at the monthly pattern. It was perfect. And there's a reason why has issues, because it isn't a rejection. This is a clear rejection of the 1618 1902 range. You hit 1902, and what would be the minimum way to resolve that? 382. And we're basically there. We're getting really close. Your 382 is like 63, I think, 64-ish. 66 on that. Maybe I need to adjust. Is that perfectly on the high to low? There you go. Yeah, so you're very close to a 382. Now, if we're going to take that 786 concept, where, look at the prior retraces, this was a 786. From there to that craziness, like there's a 786. I would even think that was even an 886. And what about the other one? So GBTC's got some rhyming, harmonic rhyming too. 886 reset, and then you go again, and then was that an 88? Yeah, it was another 886. So I'm just entertaining possibilities. I'm trying to build an argument. If we're right about the bear market retracement that has to go deeper, what are the possibilities? On GBTC, 382? Sure. But just for grins, where's the 886, guys? It's right back at 18. Retest of the XA. Is this kind of looping craziness? I just want to entertain the thought. This Gartley was never retested. We've seen a 1618 rejection. There's not a hell of a lot going on here where you bring up all of our 50 levels have been broken. So we ride that. First, I'm going to look at 63, but we'll know. Under 60 bucks is a real problem for GBTC. Be clear. Microstrategy. Man, ever since that failed, we had a crab pattern with no confirmation. That failed on 175, only down 10 today. And we talked about this crab. Okay, hit the hop. No, we were looking for confirmation. If that was an opportunity, we would have been oversold and stabilized straight through. Maybe this is the first spot to even think that it could bounce, but it really is falling apart really fast. I'm kind of surprised this is falling apart this quickly. The real thing for me, and this is where, again, framework so critical, that when you see a reaction with the crab up to target 1 and it rejects, our anticipation is for the retest. Okay, I'm not going to say that at target 1 getting rejected, I know this thing is going to fail. But if we know it has to go from 355 to 297, we're certainly not long. And you're waiting for confirmation that never came. With MicroStrategy doing what it's doing, this has just got more to go. There's nothing here for me that would say, yeah, we're oversold, look for the opportunity. No. Across the board, a lot of these markets and trends not only have been broken, they're getting destroyed. I would look at this, and this is not to trash on the sector. It is just to recognize what has happened in the same way we did it on the upside. We projected on the downside of What's this? Where's the M formation? X, A, B, C at a lower level. Your B point's at a 57, 57%. So it could almost be a Gartley, which is a 786. That's 125, 126. If we really got nasty, shake it down to 70, 68 bucks. It's that severe. It is that severe, guys. But this is XABCD MW framework showing you what are the larger possibilities. No thanks. It's not easy. The big one, Coinbase. I've shared some of my issues with a lot of people about Coinbase, and you know, I had money there, and it's not like a brokerage, J.P. Morgan, Charles Schwab, whatever, where you have FDIC insurance backing it up. I've had real problems. I have a current problem, but I've had real problems with this brokerage in the past to the point where I had to remove my money. And I'm trying to remove more now. And I've been in limbo on a wire. And I'm just thinking, well, if I'm having issues, what about big people? I just, my personal experience says that, okay, first time, my mistake. Second time, it's on me. Pattern wise, Coinbase is a type 2 bat pattern that was rejected at the hop. Nothing until 150, guys. You're 242. We said this on Tuesday, and it's been down. Oh, I don't know. What's that? 40 bucks, 30 bucks since then, and I'd still say it's still down, still down. So respect that framework. Looking for target 2 quite easily on Coinbase. And then the rest of them are, have been rug pulls. These CEP Cantor equity. What's that? That was supposed to be something. Or Circle. What's that? That's a dump on. That's shareholders and original stakeholders dumping equity stakes on an overvalued IPO. 886 was what this was drawn out a week or two ago. Was 93, currently 67. Guys, I don't have a target. Not on this. What does it say? Oh, Kathy Wood buys dips in crypto internet and she's bullish. Go ahead, Kathy. I don't know how these people are still in business. But guys, that stuff, Coinbase, CEP, and then even the Bitmine Tom Lee thing, I don't know how these guys still have jobs. Other than they're just front men getting paid, okay? Because maybe they get like 100 million allocated in stock and they can sell 20% of it, and they're still going to take out 20 million. I don't know. That's hypothetical kind of thought there. Happens all the time. Where does Bitmine go? $10? I would look at it something like this. Can we draw an M formation? X, A, B is at a 786. Talk to me about the butterfly. B point defines what the structure is, first and foremost. Bitmine down to like 17. There you go. There you go. And no opportunity. Just be clear on that. No opportunity on this stuff. Couple are, yeah. Yeah, CEP is brutal. Huh. Thanks, Darwin. Darwin's posting that the S&P 500 erased 1.5 trillion today in 2 hours. Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think it shows you that there's not a lot of strength on this market in between. A couple more. Okay, what about these minor stocks? Well, we had IREN, which was a big high flyer. And that, was 5, Back in May, it went to 72. I would be really cautious on these. It hasn't pulled back yet, but I'm not really interested in iron market. That was initiated market outperformed by XYZ brokerage, whatever. Can iron transition into the AI cloud stock? Doesn't matter. The narrative, the story doesn't matter because what did the chart do? This big 3618. That's all it is. And that was there. 3618 is like a 43 where you're back testing that. And then this is just all fluff. Iron, no thank you. Iron just, where's the weekly here? There you go. I mean, really great. That great pattern before, but this is what I was getting at on iron. There to there. Up at the top here, 2618. That's extreme harmonic impulse. How do you know if it's a 2618 or 314 or 3618? Do you have any individual price bar reaction, bearish reaction at those levels? And we had confirmation. I would look at iron like this. Okay, not until we're at almost at the 382 is like right there at 44. If you bust 44, guys, which I don't think is going to be too much of a problem, then this is due for just another candidate of an 886 reset. $10, something like that. It's that severe. I'll first look at 618. Okay, they match up. 618 on irons is more like 30. But whatever this was, amazing, great, but it just a massive buyer's run that ran out, topped out, and then this whole area is at stake. Think of it like that, where these are not strong hands. This whole area of coming back, retesting this prior price action, it's just all there. Not crazy. And you see it. Look, I was looking, I thought BTBT was going to break out. Total garbage. Total garbage. I was looking to buy that. Bought a bunch of that at 4. It's now 2. Garbage. Even with the pattern, retesting support down here at like 190. And I was waiting for an opportunity on Clean Spark. That kind of got away from it, and now I don't really even care. Because we got up to target 1. Now, back down, I'm got nothing. Clean Spark was something that we followed for a while. It did the breakout, and then what happened? Okay, because I was looking for something like this to develop. Come down, get oversold, retest the trend line, and return back up. Instead, we just put in not only HSI bearish arrow down, but diamond. And I'm thinking Clean Spark is like at least 9 or 850 before I would think about it. But it's a lot of this stuff. The failure and now the trend line retest. We break this. We break structure here. Why not go back, retest the whole zone at XA level, 572? For a minute, they looked like they were really going to do something. And then what happened? They did a massive inflection. Mara and Riot were the other two. And now look at them. Now, and these were our arrows. Yeah, remember Mara was like this? Look at that. And that was, here we go. We had a bunch of patterns at 22. And as that was going up, I was like, let's look for a retest and maybe look for 17 as like the next jump on point. Total fail. I mean, that tells you how thin that last move off the April low was. Not opportunities, guys. Oh yeah, 18 hours ago, Mara CEO sells 27,000 shares. And that was 18 hours ago. And it was 300 grand. $330,000, and he was still selling. I mean, for a guy like that, he must know something if he's willing to sell out. Oh, and the CFO sold. I mean, look at this. Insiders are selling after it lost, 40%, 50% of its value. The CFO, the CEO, not a good look. Not a good look. Yep, amazing. Hold on. Couple more. Here we go. How did zero of my targets get hit? Did not. You don't think harmonic patterns work? Okay, that's for you, man. I mean, I couldn't be clearer. The data changed, and it changed 5, 6 weeks ago. And if you really do the research and go back and see what I was saying, oh, I would say mid-October, that I was starting to have a real problem with the whole Bitcoin thing, and at under 107, that we were due for 93. Okay, it couldn't be clearer. I hear what you're saying, though. I get it, of saying, like, what happened to the extreme expansion? It failed, and that launch pad at 107 to 111, that failed. It failed. And I've been really clear since, I don't know, late October, even beginning of this month, or even 2 weeks ago when Bitcoin was still at 100K. I was like, guys, 93K has got to get clipped. It's up to you whether it works for you or not. If you see something here of value, okay, and understand how the framework plays out directionally, okay, and defines opportunities, that is a strategic advantage. If you can't see it, then I would say go somewhere else. But I couldn't be clearer on all of it. Let's go to the Qs, okay? Because just too much on that. The Qs, which I've been saying also last few weeks of being a 1618 finality, we hit the target on the QQQ. Now NASDAQ dropping to new lows here, down 350.60. And I think this continues to go. 545. We said that last time, too. Okay, getting down to 545 was what needed to happen for this 1618 to be fully digested. And that's still going to be the target. We're now currently 590. We were 610 this morning before the reversal. So this is another case where we're respecting the framework, respecting the importance of the 1618. Essentially, we get a 1618. Okay, that has to have some retracement. And any type of time frame, to me, a 1618 is definition of naturally overbought. Yes, you can continue higher, but if we get the price action where it rolls over, get confirmation, that's how we treat the shift in levels. And that's where we're at so far until we can get down to, say, on the Qs, it's 545. The futures were a little bit different. But that's been done. We have triggered that scenario here. And I'm thinking that whatever is going on, and I do think it had a lot to do with the last Fed meeting. And basically they weren't going to cut rates. Which the Fed has been known to crash the market doing shit like this before. To me, I'm looking at 1618. I'm saying that's it for now. Get me some kind of oversold reading. It doesn't have to go all the way to 545 at the 382, but that is the minimum objective normally. If we were to get some kind of oversold reading down here, maybe that would be something to go on. But I'm going to stick to 545, guys, and it's current level's 590. Let me be clear. What we do here is talk about harmonic patterns and the levels and framework that they give us to assess the market. Nothing goes straight up forever or straight down forever, but absolutely, all right, the targets, the levels, once we know what to look at, define our structure and our strategy. For me, I'm bearish on the market during this retrace. I do not see too many opportunities in this market. I know NVIDIA had great news. We'll get to that in a second. But NVIDIA is overextended as well. Got to be clear, guys. This is why, this is the value. All right. And there's reasons why I do it other than just shilling my software. Okay. You can buy my software. You don't have to buy my software. I think it makes you a better trader, understanding where the levels are. But at a minimum, for me, it's ever since I had my early success with harmonic patterns, I wanted to share the information. Okay, because it gave people a clue. It gave them a consistent clue of what's happening in the market, where it's going directionally, and then the character of it. Right now, Qs are done. Resolve this 1618. That's, for me, that's at 545. And until then, I'm going to respect that change. And obviously, we can't know exactly on the day it hits the 1618, although we're certainly looking. But the week it hits the 1618, we stalled. We had a really nasty reversal off of there. Those were the first signs. And I always say, you're looking at a level, you're looking at a zone. The first 3 to 5 bars are going to tell you a hell of a lot about what's possible. Here, I'm going to stick with just minimum 382. 547 is probably the exact number, but it's under 550. And come on back. Hey, in the same way, we were talking 630, 1618 off the April lows. It's playing out. It's not, I was really bullish. We were looking for the correction back in January, February. We were looking for this kind of move down here. And it went a lot deeper than I anticipated. But directionally, I was spot on about that. And then when we got the return move back in April, tell them, long timers, people that are here, have been here with me for a year, 2, 3 years now. You guys know this return move from there to there was the play from April into June-ish. And then we didn't even get confirmation until all the way up there. In the same way, directionally, I understood that. I'm now understanding data has shifted, changed. We're in a 382 retrace. If you guys can do that in your skill set, strategy set for looking at markets, trying to define opportunities, okay, the level of understanding of where the opportunity is goes up by, a magnitude of other than not looking at it. Check that out. The other one, S&P 500, the SPY. Okay, been amazing this year. It's an amazing chart. Monthly here. Okay, we've been dealing with this deep crab for a long time, and we walked through, said this needed a correction. The type 1 reaction, for basically all purposes, that was exact at 482.25. The low was 481.80 on the monthly chart. So we then had the return move. Okay, we exceeded the hop level, everything there. Really, we didn't really even get overbought. I think on the weekly we did. The weekly, yeah. So the weekly is a little bit better because we did have confirmation. Monthly, not so much. But the key things, all right, we get the confirmation there. Then what are you looking at? How do we know that the price action is changing? Well, HSI cracking the 50 is a first start. And now with this week's action, just like we saw in Bitcoin, we're at the 50 level on amplified, breaking it. Last time we saw that weekly time frame, I'd say, go back to, it was February, but even probably straight up was early January. And that precedes price. NASDAQ down 400 now, 24,300. Guys, this has a long way to go. And even on a simpler level, if you're looking for opportunities in the market, all right, they're not here now. Where the phase is gone. We are back in a big retrace phase. And a lot would have to happen in terms of price and time before I'm going to be recommending longing stocks again. Let's check out NVIDIA. NVIDIA, greatest company that has ever existed, hit a $5 trillion market cap. Okay, you'd be crazy not to buy NVIDIA, right? Well, we're going to have to look at some things here. NVIDIA as well. Anybody notice a pattern? A repeating kind of phenomenon, or better yet, rhyming phenomenon, that we're at the 1618? 1618 on the weekly and the monthly charts, probably even better. And we can't get through. We have hit the top end of the 1902, which was our target all along. And again, I'm going to say NVIDIA too, even despite all the great news and everything, it's in for a major retrace. And that's down at like 160. Where's that? Oh, no. Let's go this way. Off the high, off the exact top. 382 is like 155. 160, book it. Book it, Deno. Right? I already can see that. We failed the 1618. We're pulling back. You want to buy NVIDIA? You start looking at 160. Until then, just step aside. Okay? Nothing to see here. Get me something. Give me some kind of oversold value. These lows are going to crack. Under 177. This, again, usually when amplified is at this point, we lose it. We crack the 50 level and down. Oh, speaking about cracking, NASDAQ just absolutely, NQ just got crushed. NQ just took out that 24.3 and dropped about 60 points in a heartbeat. Check this out. 30-second time frame on NASDAQ futures. Interesting. Bullish bat right now is amplified above the 50. This is a great example. Okay, here's a great 30-second pattern. Here's a pattern I would look at as a day trade opportunity right at the hop at 75. But I'm looking at amplified. This is my RSI variable. Is that at the 50 level? Not yet. Typically, it's a type 1, hop level to T1, but with amplified under the 50, I'm just going to step back and just let that go until I see further development. The same situation works 30-second time frame as it does weekly or monthly. Okay, it's that fractal consistency. The same proportions, the same metrics, any time frame. That's probably one of the greatest advantages of what we do. But I don't think that holds. I'm real skeptical that until we get that out above 50, it's a difficult prospect to long at the low of the day. I mean, where is this going? So where's NQ going, guys? And I want to kind of get in front of some deeper targets too, just so you're aware that despite as crazy as it looks, we're not even at the 886 off the August low. Go back to this area. Really, it started in September, and so 886 off the September rally It's like 23.5, and that's where I think we're going. You get yourself 23.5, 23.6. It's 600 lower. I'll tell you what though, this candle, this today's reversal candle is one of the nastiest reversal candles in a long time. I haven't seen, maybe since go back to April, but people will be talking about the fact that you shook it in and then massive bearish engulfing. That's continuation all over. NQ 23.5. QQQ 545. SPY, I didn't really give you a target there, but in terms of levels for SPY, what another nasty bearish engulfing. We're going to take out that October low. And yeah, I mean, it's September 886. You know, that's really the last logical pivot point. It puts you like 640-ish. That's not too much farther from where we are. But I've got concerns. Appreciate it. Fresh low for Bitcoin. Let's circle back. I don't, it's not really what I want to see happen, but this is where we started. Oh, goodness. 86K now. How soon? Let's take a poll. I should create a poll. Will we see 78K before the end of the month? I should create a poll. Where is it? No. I'm not going to waste my time. But I'm in clear. 76K, 78's target 2. Again, these are just numbers. 86. I think logically most people are ready to throw in the towel on that. But why not? What would be there other than, some influencer saying, okay, it's time to buy? This is acceleration lower. I would not be surprised if we're clipping 76K by next week. With Thanksgiving coming up, the way this is all shaped up, I'm not going to commit, guys. I have deeper targets than 76, 78K. And I do think they're possible. I want to be clear on getting to the immediate objective now, which is give me 6 more weeks. Although I know it might only be 6 days. Absolutely. Couple of recommendations, questions. Anything you guys want to look at? Everyone else, if you're brand new, welcome. We've had a few new people. Please just get the software because it's a tool that's going to help you learn as much as the signals so that you can understand the framework, read the direction like I've been reading to define opportunities. We don't have any opportunities right now. That's the difference. No opportunities right now, but take the time to learn. Get your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com and then the 30% off Black Friday code HPC30. Let's give away one 30-day license, and if you get the 30-day license, you'll get the discount still. Take the month. Hey, take 2 weeks on all of these platforms and come back and then, make the educated decision there. If you have any questions, the place to hit me up is over on Discord. Raphael, you win the 30-day package. I'm going to give you guys the Discord link. We've had a few more people join in there, so get on over. Hit the Discord link here, guys. Check the chat. I just posted that. A couple people want to look at Rivian. Okay, we were looking at Rivian last week, and I said we're going to need a pullback. I mean, it did look interesting. And maybe this is further in development. We're to the right of the downtrend. But I'm going to say this. Where's the last pattern? That's all the way back here around $10. So I would either need to see a new fresh pattern generated here or retest $10. I know a lot of people are chomping at the bit, want to jump on that. No opportunity, guys. No opportunity. NASDAQ about to go down 500 at the point. Just something else. We already know. I'm really clear, guys, about the levels. Rivian, if you wanted to buy it, it's at 14.90. Get it to $10. And I will just wait until it is. Early stages. The other one, Tesla, is another one. I love Tesla, man. I think Tesla is going to be a stock you're going to want to own for the next 5 or 10 years. But at what price? Currently, what we've talked about, the bat pattern, get it to 372, and that's still the target. It was at 420 this morning, 372. And the weekly is probably a deeper dive. Why? Because it's a type 2 go to target 2. That is the framework. We did type 1 reaction. That we were all over that beginning of the year. Did the return move on Tesla. Now, from a sheer price level standpoint, I'd be looking at target 2 because that pattern is completed with confirmation. The T2 is the bigger opportunity, even though we had that massive reaction. Type 2 is a clearer reversal strategy. 249 is on the weekly. Again, if that changes, I'll let you know. But right now, no. It's clearly down. Needs to retest that. And then, like I said, with the rest of it, how do we know? Well, we're at the 50 level. We're cracking that 50 level for the first time. This is where acceleration really can happen. Same way it did back in January, February. So, guys, this is, I don't mean to be just beating a dead horse here on the severity of these breakdowns, but they are there. We'll come back on Tuesday and we'll see where we're at. But I gotta say, the coordination of these indicators, okay, it's just tracking that as progress relative to where the price is. Price has a long way to go. And I think Tesla's going to be a big winner after we resolve that pattern. Google, yeah, that's been a big winner too. I mean, Google was all-time new highs recently. And I think Google will continue to be a big winner. Weekly, where's the daily? The daily's like that. Look, I think Google, Meta, Amazon, these are all great companies that are going to be around for the next 10 years. Do I have any kind of a buying opportunity? Do I have any kind of a trigger? I don't. So you just let that wait until it does. I mean, the last bullish continuation was back in just about 5-6 weeks ago. There, right around 230, went to 300. We've got some bearish confirmation where it should cap it for now. I don't have a heck of a lot. I mean, the weekly, probably a little bit worse. So Google, you're just going to have to be patient on it. Wait for that next setup. Again, the other one I was looking at last time, Oracle, with a few patterns. I want to see confirmation on this. Dailies looks like this. Here's a great example. And ever since that strategy session, we've been talking about how does a pattern go from a pattern to an opportunity? Well, you got to complete the pattern first. And then in terms of what we do for confirmation, here's Oracle. Crazy run this year. 1 and 2 patterns. So I'm looking at 212, But what needs to happen? I need to retest that arrow. I need a dot. So that's still lower. And then the final piece, because I'm not ever just jumping into something unless I have the signal and I have what I like to call development. All right. We got to get amplified. That's that middle RSI indicator I talked about. Anywhere close to 50? Nope, not yet. So you're many trading days before that can even happen. We can't even get price acceleration in any way until that's higher. It's a great pattern, all right, and I would closely monitor it, but it's not an opportunity until those other things can develop for us. I think that's a really nice kind of back-to-back situation that is still just in the pattern identification phase. It's not. We need the dot. We need some development for real execution because we would be looking for that ideal fashion to go from hop to T1. It's not ready yet. Yeah, Buffett just bought Google, but he's notoriously buying tops and just sits on it. He did that with Oxy. Really, Wayne, is that is that a joint for real? Not yet. Maybe at 415, 420. What's up, Rob? Rob wants to look at gold. And this same deal on gold. I think gold is going to continue its long-term trend. Targets are higher long-term after we get through what you're looking at currently. I'm going to stick to gold going to 36.50. It's a target one. It was overshot. But target one, 36.50 would resolve this whole crazy rally. It's done for now. It's just done for now, and let it happen. Let it come in. We need that retrace. Gold, I think longer term, is going to continue to move higher in the next few years, but we got to wait for these kind of retracements, reactions. Minimum retrace is like 39.85 on gold. A buddy of mine actually reached out to me recently. He's like, "Hey, I want to get into gold. I've been watching this thing go up and up and up." And he's like, "I think I'm going to just go on it now because it'll be fine longer term." And I just said, "All right, if you want to do that, buy it in chunks. Maybe 10% or 20% now if you absolutely have to grab it." I told him, I said, "I think, 36, 3800 could easily happen on this retrace before we see anything else." And I'm going to stick with that. The levels are here. Don't have anything else that would suggest, hey, I'm ready to continue this mad run. But that's the scene. Beyond that, silver's the other one. Silver's been just amazing. Probably the best year for silver in decades. But we're at major levels, guys. And that crab too. I don't know what that. We're at the all-time 886, which is there. 886 on SLV is like $45. And the natural 382, let that come in to like 32. On the futures for silver, the big 886 was 53. There you go. Rejected. We're month 2 here. We had 2 shots at the 886. It is a bat pattern. Okay, can't get through. I'm looking for silver to come in too. It's not a buy here at $50. Gotta be really just patient on that. I think silver is another one. I traced this out a while ago that we'd have the retrace and then we had that follow through move. Respect that 886. We got to digest what has happened, especially in the last 18 months. We do it here, come in, and we'll get another signal. Absolutely will. Does silver follow gold? Yeah. I mean, look, silver's played catch up. Yeah, silver's going to play catch up. I think longer term, you're going to want to stay long silver. But where we are now, and like a lot of these, I mean, that's the 886 monthly here is really similar to like the Bitcoin 1618, and all of these assets are basically doing the retrace. Um, yeah, so Bitcoin guys gonna crack 86 right now, and I'm probably gonna send you over to Mitch. Mitch, I'm sure is gonna jump on here any second. Um, Last thing about Bitcoin, and I mentioned this. Look, we had it on the Binance monthly feed. We do have this crazy crab pattern. It's not, there was a bad tick, but it shows you what the kind of W formation that should have occurred. And that's a type 1 on the monthly 74K. Undeniable stuff. Undeniable stuff. Oh, I love this. Analyst claims XRP could surge to an astonishing $220. Okay, these people, they should be taken out back and smacked upside the head. That is absolutely irresponsible. And, go back to what listen to my conversation from Tuesday, guys. I talked about, I had a great afternoon with a family friend who works for Swift, and he shared with me what they're doing. And everything that XRP does is replaceable, easily replaceable. That Swift can do it. And I'm tired of the narrative. I'm going to stick to the levels, stick to the harmonic patterns. I hope you guys find this of value. Okay. But that's where I'm coming from, straight up. So everybody, get your chance to get the software now. HPC 30, that gets you 30% off all of them. All right. And if you want to just get started here, please get the free trial. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. We'll be back on Tuesday, guys. Really appreciate you. Hope you are doing well no matter what. Stay in there. Been pretty clear on what I'm thinking is going down. Until next time, as always, go get them.